Hello dear artists. In the next minutes you're going to learn how to create an artist resume professionally and swiftly, because being an artist is already hard enough. This part shouldn't be. An artist resume is a concise overview of all the most important information and accomplishments of an artist, which are being presented in bullet points, and there is a very specific format and conventions when it comes to artist resumes. If you have a look at all the leading galleries, they will present the artist resumes of their artists all in the exact same format, with just a couple of differences between them. As a result, it is very much advised that you do the same, because it shows that you understand what you're doing and that you're also be able to deliver information that is expected. For instance, if you do not have an artist resume, a gallery cannot make an informed decision on whether or not to work with you, so they might not even consider it. The same goes for open calls. If you do not have an artist resume that is also formatted professionally, you're basically out of the running before it started. At the very top of your artist resume should be the artist's name, using your name and surname or your alias if that's applicable to you, followed by some biographic information, when and where you were born, and where you are currently residing and working. In some cases, you can also add your contact details here. Up next, there is the education segment. So you mention when and where you studied. In some cases, this is followed up by grants and residencies. However, with many artist resumes, we also see this a little bit later, after the exhibition history. The exhibition history is arguably the most important part. So here you want to enter all the exhibitions you have had. If you didn't have a lot of exhibitions, make sure to include all of them, and perhaps you can also combine solo and group exhibitions and art fairs within the same segment, so that you have a segment with a significant weight and body. Even more, when you have had a lot of exhibitions, then it is also important to curate the quality of your resume entries when it comes to these exhibitions. At first, we want to include everything we have, but if you have a bit more exhibitions, then it's important to filter out the irrelevant ones, such as open studio days or at venues that you no longer want to be associated with, and just make sure that your most valuable exhibition entries are visible and do not drown in the irrelevant ones. Up next, we have a segment with selected collections. If you are not featured in any renowned public collections, then you can simply write down that you are featured in some private collections, or exclude this part altogether. It is especially designed for artists who have work in public collections or in renowned private or corporate collections. Now, if you haven't mentioned the grants and residencies at the top of your resume above the exhibition history, then this is the place to do it. And you can also add some individual honors and awards here. You can have them in 3 separated categories, or you can bring them all together if you haven't had many of them. Up next, you can have a segment with selected press. All articles in the newspapers, perhaps online, is being brought together here in an overview. Once more, as you become more established, you kind of want to curate this selection and predominantly have the most relevant ones, such as a feature in an art magazine. Then you can also add the section with the bibliography, meaning the books published about your work or that your work is included in. To conclude, you can add a segment with other relevant professional experiences. Think of curating a show, doing artist talks, lectures, teaching positions, or if there is any other professional background that is relevant for your practice. Do not add non-art related experience to your artist resume. At the very end of your resume, you can also share your contact details or the dealer directory, meaning galleries that are representing you. Make sure that you write down these entries in the formats as displayed on the screen or in another similar variation, but do it consistently to have a professional end result. If you want to save a lot of time and avoid making mistakes like these, you can definitely consider using our template for an artist resume. I will link to it in the description below and to our bundle with other useful tools for artists. Update your artist resume every time you've had a new show or that you have a new entry. Have one publicly available on your website and have also a digital document, most often in Word and PDF, which you'll need, for instance, for open calls. And that's it. Congratulations with your new artist resume, and once more being a step closer to increasing your chances for success as an artist. If you're interested in more educational advice and career advice for artists, then definitely consider following this channel, as well as consulting our overview page with advice for artists at contemporaryartissue.com. Thank you very much, and I very much look forward to seeing you in the next video soon.